Hello, everyone. In this audio, I'm going to explore the concept of posthuman knowledge, which is central to my research because I look at social technical systems as systems of knowledge production. So what posthuman knowledge does, it gives us a ontological, it helps us create an ontological and epistemological framework through which we can study, research, and analyze social technical systems. Now, please keep in mind that this is a brainstorming session, so it's going to sound messy. Posthuman knowledge is a kind of perspective that emerged in the context of posthuman philosophy and posthumanism. So it's a change in paradigm. Some scholars will say that it's a shifting, that the posthuman philosophy is the philosophy of our times. And it has been shifting since the mid 20th century, especially with the rise of cybernetics. But I would go as back as the 1920s with the rise of process philosophy, nature philosophy, and organism philosophy, which in fact is what sets the stage to the advancement of systems thinking, and it helped advance towards more modern systems theories. Posthumanism then is a kind of critique of traditional humanism, which was inherited from the Enlightenment, intellectual movements of the Enlightenment. The Enlightenment placed humans as the pinnacle of existence. So posthumanism will challenge this anthropocentrism and will introduce non-human agents, non-human entities, as having agency in the transformative and changing nature of the world and of reality. Now, in posthumanism is a kind of umbrella term that embraces several different intellectual movements, that have been rising since the 20th century. But some of the core aspects of it is this kind of critique of anthropocentrism, the breakdown of dualisms. So there's no longer, it breaks down the boundaries between humans and machines, human and nature. It deconstructs hierarchies, and it also places science and technology as a kind of augmentation. So technologies are used to enhance and extend human senses and capabilities. Now, these are all very important to understanding knowledge making and posthuman philosophy. Now, the place of knowledge making in posthuman philosophy gives rise to a new subject of knowledge. So the knowing subject in posthumanism is no longer anthropos, it's no longer the human, but actually a complex web of human and non-human performative agents. So if you go back to process philosophy and all of those core aspects of posthuman philosophy, it gives us this understanding of a complex of network of human and non-human agents interacting in performative processes. It becomes a collective assemblage. It becomes a social technical apparatus of knowledge production. Now, important works to understanding posthuman knowledge is first, the work of Catherine Hayles in 1999, How We Became Posthuman. She goes through cybernetics, informatics, and literature to explain this kind of shift. And information and cybernetics, they change the notion of bodies. This is very strong in this work. So the breakdown of boundaries between humans and machines create a kind of extended perception, and human and artifact now join in a single system, and the flow of information in the system is introduced as a principle that explains how organization occurs, how organization happens across multiple hierarchical levels. So the system, the human organism, the human body now, before, very human, just locked into the human body, very anthropocentric. Now, information cybernetics breaks down that notion of body. It reconstructs, it reconfigures the body, and it forms a system of higher complexity, and now it's a hybrid form of organization. In this reconfiguration of the body, so to speak, cognitive agency is dispersed throughout the hybrid system. So she uses a very good example of a human using a virtual reality technology, experiencing virtual reality. And she says, well, cognition now disperses throughout the hybrid system as a new phenomenon. And it becomes distributed. Cognition and cognitive processes becomes a distributed phenomenon. So it's now the human and artifact, they become a distributed cognitive system. And in this distributed cognitive system is this sort of post-human subject of knowledge. The new knowing subject is the social technical apparatus, this kind of collective assemblage of human and non-human agents, particularly technical agents, performing collectively in the production of knowledge. So very important work, Catherine Hayles, very early in the introduction of posthumanism. And there's a lot more, but just to kind of limit the scope of this conversation, I'm going to just choose a couple of literature. So the second one, then, now with the work of Catherine Hayles in this introduction of posthuman, the breakdown of dualistic boundaries, hierarchies, and introduction of non-human agents in this web of relations, gives us this understanding of distributed cognitive systems. And a very important work that introduced distributed cognition was the work of Edwin Hutchins. It's called Cognition in the Wild. It was published in 1995. And he analyzes navigation, the practice of navigation, so ship navigation, to explain how cognitive processes are distributed throughout the social technical apparatus. So cognition is socially distributed. It's seen as a collective property of a collective property that is actually manifested by the larger social technical apparatus. So instead of the human and the organism being the unit of cognitive analysis, the social technical apparatus becomes the larger unit of cognitive analysis. Social technical organization as a unit of cognitive analysis instead of just the biological organization or the human body. In this social technical organization, cognitive activity is distributed across a network of human and non-human agents. So I think that overall, I mean, very briefly and very straight to the point, there's a lot of literature that can be explored, but this gives a notion that the posthuman knowledge gives rise to a new subject of knowledge. It's no longer anthropocentric. There's actually a third piece of work that I find very important. Karen Knoscetina in Epistemic Cultures, How the Sciences Make Knowledge. She makes it very clear how this shift in epistemic agents happens between the individual scientist to the collective apparatus. So the human is no longer the entity or the subject who is producing knowledge, but the human is embodied in a larger apparatus, the social technical apparatus, which becomes in posthumanism the new unit of cognitive analysis. I think this is it. To me, this is a fascinating concept. I think that this is a big shift in the way that knowledge is produced in moving forward. We already see this. Knowledge is very much produced by collectives in organizations through the use of technology. So technology enhances our cognitive capacity and gives rise to this, I called it the collective cyborg body, which is this kind of phenomenon, this kind of entity that displays distributed agency and distributed cognition. A product of this collective body is knowledge. So knowledge is produced by all of the interactive processes of the human and non-human entities that are interconnected in the world. That's it. Thank you very much. If you want to explore, or discuss, or debate, please use the comments below. I'd be happy to clarify or explore more of these ideas. Thank you.